I caught her going on a dating website and she threatened me too. Hi there, welcome to Reddit Goat channel. Today we are going to have another unbelievable cheating story. But before we get started, please hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so that you won't miss any of our daily cheating stories. Around 10 years ago my wife, 33F, and I, 30M, met online, and from the very first few weeks when things didn't go her way she threw bottles at me and scratched me and told me to leave, which I wish I did. I have been told until today that I am not worthy, not educated, even though I got a master's, and she isn't, which doesn't matter to me. That I'm not a doctor or pilot, so doesn't deserve any respect from her or the world. As a child, I got a trauma of abuse from a family member for many years. She keeps bringing this up and says that I deserve this and that I am not a man. I caught her going on dating websites, and when I bring this up and question her, she gets mad and tells me that it isn't anything serious and that I shouldn't make a big deal out of it, and if I don't stop asking she would call the police to get me out of the house, so I kept quiet. On numerous occasions, we had arguments where I then mentioned I would like to move on with life, and when I mentioned splitting our assets, house, etc. She gets furious and calls the police, and they come and ask me to leave the house for matter peace. When I refuse, they tell me that they will arrest me, which I did once, and they arrested me for not leaving my property, and I was breaking the peace whilst I was calm all the time. She called several more times to get me removed during arguments, and at one point she used a decade-old scar to say that it was a bruise I caused that day. This really surprised me and got arrested for this and taken to court. She got a domestic violence order against me for 1 month, and the police supported this. When I went to court and showed them pictures of a few years ago, they saw that same mark on her body. They however still gave me the DV order to prevent further harm on my name for the both of us. I totally disagreed with this and was in civil court. At this point I was homeless and slept on the streets for a few weeks, nearly losing my job and my own mind. I showered at work and slept at the desk until I had to leave. How unfair is justice? I called the DV unit at the police who dealt with this and wanted an explanation of how they possibly even support someone coercive and manipulating like that. They told me not to complain about their department, that I should be quiet and that I should not file a complaint to the police for my own good. I got scared and we ended the conversation. After the month DV order was finished, my wife then applied for a 6 months court order for DV. Funny enough, she is the one hitting me, shouting, manipulating me to spend money, and if I don't listen she threatens to call the police as they will take her side anyway, which they do. This doesn't happen every day BTW, but more around payday times. She is very good at cursing me and hitting me, then making crocodile tears and playing the victim when she calls her friends. I do not dare to call the police to ask for help as they take the woman's side fully. I called the council, men's advice lines, etc. However, no one provides support for male victims and there are only places available for females, as they said with their own words. To my surprise, I called the council and they told me, "Why didn't you think before abusing your wife? Now you're homeless." This was absolutely ridiculous as I didn't do anything and they should provide me with some care or support, which they refused as I am a homeowner. I ended up renting a place with some help from friends. I started divorce proceedings and the financial part. We were at the very last meetings about our assets and sharing custody of our child and start over again separately. Then a few months later I bumped into her and we talked. She was nice and sweet. We decided to try again and she canceled the DV order in civil court, which I got served without notice. I objected to it, but because the COVID court didn't have time and they kept postponing it, we canceled the divorce too. I managed to save some money, and she told me to use it to renovate the house and make it very nice, which I did. However, as my money now ran out, she started acting like before again, and she plays with my mind, saying that I am very evil and nasty person and keeps me awake in the night to argue for anything. I don't sleep much and cannot perform at work. When I ask for an explanation why she says this, she says you just are bad, and that's the only explanation. She calls her friends in front of me and openly says that I am evil and how she cannot live with me and she regrets the decision. This is really sad and I am very confused about this, as I just spent thousands to redo the house and do all the shopping and don't do anything to provoke her. Why is she saying this? I cannot get my head around it, and I think she is bullying me so I can leave. For example, when I'm in the garden cleaning she gets angry and says that I am showing the neighbors that I am cleaning and that I am trying for them to like me. Very weird experience. When there are people standing in front of our house waiting for the bus, she gets angry and says that I cheat on them. That's why they stand by this bus stop and not the other one, and that I am disrespecting her and bringing people in front of the house. When I buy something she sneakily takes pictures of it. When I shower and forget to wipe down the floor she takes a picture of it. When I don't put the dishes in the dishwasher, she makes pictures of this and sends this to herself via email. I know this as I caught her a few times and questioned her about it. She replied, "Yes, I am taking pictures. Why are you worried? Are you hiding something?" I get extremely confused by these answers from her. I get spat on if I say something back. I, however, clean most of the time the house and don't understand what is going on and really try to please her, but everything I do backfire and get a nasty reply. I am desperate to leave now again, however, I have nowhere to go. I cannot stay with family or friends. I am also starting to get afraid of what she might be planning, as this doesn't make sense to me. However, keep in mind that I already tried to contact the police when I got falsely arrested and several times asked to leave the house. I called the council, homeless shelter, male abuse lines. No one can help because I'm a man. They even openly say this and agree that the law is on the woman's side. Seems like a broken system to me. I feel used by her for achieving what we own as of today. And it feels like she used me to get here and now tries to make my life a hell so I can leave myself. She does not work, by the way, and I pay for everything, holidays, etc. She even without my permission gave money away to family. When I question that, I get a reply not to be greedy and nasty. The court will not sell our assets, I think, because there is a child involved, who is not aware of our issues. This will leave me having to rent a room which I cannot afford whilst she can stay in our property. She says go to court and ask the house to be sold. They will favor the woman anyway, so you will be renting a small room for a long time, and even laughs about it that I will be struggling. I don't have any funds for a lawyer, and pro bono workers turned me down as it's a family matter. I am way too young for this and really want to get out of this situation. I wish I never left the rental room I had, which is now again rented, else I would have gone back there. She also BTW visits and joins domestic violence clubs, which makes things even worse as only they knew what she was doing. Here's the second story. I found out that she had sex with him in my bed last Friday. My GF of 5 years broke up with me without telling me that she was with someone else and had been for at least 1 month. When I found out, I told her that I had no other choice but to accept her new relationship and wish her the best. I asked her one thing, not to see him in our house until we sell it or until she buys it from me. I temporarily moved out to give her some space while she thinks about our breakup and what she really wants to do. She's been saying that we could still go back together, but she needed to think about it. She had sex with him in my bed last Friday. I immediately found out and confronted her about it. I told her to pack her things and let me enjoy the comfort of the house. I asked her to leave, take some time to reflect on her side, and let me rebuild myself in our house. I tried moving back in last Sunday, but she wouldn't move, and told me that I couldn't force her to leave the house. I had to change the sheets they had sex in. I had to empty the bin where they threw their used condoms. When I tried to finally go to sleep in my bed, this is what she told me: "Are you sure that you want to sleep in the bed where I fucked him yesterday?" I lost the will to fight. We had a 4-hour chat where I conceded everything to her. The house, the dog, the cats, everything we own. I was exhausted. Still am. The worst part? At the end of this chat, she told me that she was losing someone great, that we still had chances to stay together, and that I shouldn't give up and I should keep fighting for her. Fuck her. I moved out again, blocked her on every social media, and started NC on Monday. This is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell for any future cheating stories.